What's up everyone, it's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Please follow my Instagram at Russo Lifts, just in case something happens to this YouTube channel. You can follow, message, and you can watch my daily story content on Instagram. I'll see you there. What is up everyone, it's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Today's ASMR sip is some cold brew coffee. Please like the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell, click all, and check out my informational content because this is a BS clout grab. So today I'm going to be reacting to Jack West's Q&A, and specifically, should Jack West compete or not? And I wanted to have a super base conversation in the public because I've had this conversation in private, and low-key, I respect Jack. I'm not trying to sit there and prod. I'd rather have the discussion brought out into the public where multiple opinions can be weighed in the comments down below, and I can keep it super base to a point where, you know, I already poked once, I poked the bear, you don't continue poking the bear. Or the dog, you know, Jack's the big dog. Anyways, I met up with Jack West in real life. He is a real motherfucker. He is a straight up unit as far as legitimately being a Marine Corps unit. You know, like when you have to build the army and you only have like so much allocated resources in your video game, you're like, you want to pick all Jack West, but like you end up like running out of that budget, so you pick like the shitty infantrymen and then you have like a couple Jack West. Like, you know, that's the funny, stupid RPG, RTS real-time strategy joke from Russo. But like I said, I met up with Jack and John, I was coming out of my mental hiatus and they were completely real as fuck with me, you know, off the camera, even in complete silence when we're all just chilling in the room. There was no bullshit. But yeah, they were super real. You know, I can't say that with everyone I talk about on this channel, but definitely check out Jack and John, and I will be visiting them out in Vegas. I'm super excited to train at the Dragon's Lair and chill in Henderson. You know, Vegas, I have a bunch of friends there, but Jack and John are definitely on my list to hit when I check out Vegas, so stay tuned for the content, and who knows, maybe the P-Way crew will come to the Berg, and we could do a collab with everyone here, because I know there's a lot of Jack West fans in Pittsburgh, and I want to do something in Pittsburgh for the fitness clout scene, so might as well partner up with the big dog, make it happen later this year. Today I'm going in specifically of, I'll have Andrew throw up the clip of, he was asked should he, will he compete?
And that the reason being is because like I was never in my life like a fan of like bodybuilding. I kind of like would look at like Arnold and some of the older dudes, the old heads, and like,
yeah, so I feel like I'm over here like Darth Sidious Andrew, you know, I'm just like, do it. But like, I really did want to have a base conversation about this because it's kind of funny, right? I'll say it like this because so many people ask me about going on shit, to have aspirations to be a pro, or aspirations to build a crazy enhanced physique. And I'll be like, well, let's think about it, right? If you're gonna go down the dark side gear route, which obviously has health implications, especially when you push the compounds. Now, obviously, if you have a good coach in your corner, if you are hyper monitoring everything, you know, I'm not here to weigh like, okay, like, are you a dumbass with gear or not? Let's pretend like it's neutral as far as that goes. There's obviously risk and you're gonna harm mitigate some of it. The OCD level is dependent on the coach monitoring you essentially, basically. But I'll always ask this person who comes in my DM box at Russo Lifts. I answer 20 to 30 people for free a day, or at least try to. My Instagram's been kind of weird lately, so be sure to give it a follow and shoot me a DM. But I don't know, my DMs have been strange as far as message requests getting stuck and shit, so just keep that with a grain of salt. But when someone comes in my DM box, I'll be like, you know, do you have the persona? Do you have the honesty, integrity? Do you have the genes, muscle bellies? Do you have a good natural base? Are you a good looking dude? Otherwise, you will not really reap the reward of going down that route. Jack has all that shit. Jack is the, you know, unit military dude. Honest and integrity is there, right? As far as putting him on a pedestal and having other men look to him, he's a character that if I had a son, right, I'd want him absorbing Jack's brain, not some trend up douche, okay? Obviously, he has the genes, right? Because he's built such an extreme natural base, right? He told me he was natural, and I did his natty or not. Check out his natty or not. He gave me his blood work to prove that he was natty, unlike most of these fucks. And he was natural based on the blood work he gave me. And he also have Andrew throw them up. Gave me a bunch of pictures showing his extremely slow linear progression. Not extremely, like the fact that he progressed like that for so long naturally is crazy. But he has every single box checked off when it comes to someone who should walk down that dark road and get put on a pedestal as far as having an insanely super physiological enhanced physique. There's very few people where I'm like, you have all the cards to make it happen, and Jack sadly does. And I say sadly because I see Jack's angle. You know, I see Jack's angle. I had Andrew play Jack's angle, and I'll play into his angle right now of what does Jack really have to gain from actually becoming maxed out as far as like, okay, Jack has told me the cycles he's done. He actually threw me up a picture of Andrew, you know, shoot me the text that Jack shot me. He's like, you know, basically he's like literally just dabbling around with an oral on TRT. That's it, right? I'll get dudes who've done quintuple. That's 5 times the amount of gear and cycles to not even look close to how he looked naturally, let alone on actual TRT, and just fucking around with an oral on top, right? It's insane, the genetic base he has built the hard way, the long way, the hard way, when we look at how he built that natural base. And I'm obviously like, I hate when I talk to dudes who have really good genes and hyper respond to training like Jack. And I was actually talking to the overall winner. I'll throw him up, I'll give him a drop, he's really cool. I believe his name was Keon. I hope I don't butcher his name, but he was the overall winner of the Pittsburgh NPC Classic Physique, and he happened to train out of my LA, and I actually didn't even know that he was around here locally, to be honest. But yeah, I met up with him, and like I'll meet genetic specimens because as far as like, yeah, I want to compete, but like I know my genetics, and really like my transformation and linear progress just speaks for itself as far as my starting point to my ending point. But like when I meet someone where I'm like, wow, this person has a lot of potential, and I want to weigh in my biohacking brain on their journey, right? I always go into like, I'm not discrediting either of them building their natural bases, especially Jack, because Keon seemed to really respond to enhancement crazily, whereas Jack has built the starting point so far up at age 26, 27 that dumping PEDs on it, like definitely gonna get a pro card. No doubt in my mind, pretty much instantly. Already has the persona, already has the look, already has all, you know, all the cards are there for it to work out. But in Jack's argument, what does Jack have to gain? Jack has the sponsorships. He's sponsored by Young LA, sponsored by Gorilla Mind. He has the clout. Okay, the perception of him competing to garner more fame doesn't really apply, considering he's going to hit 100,000 this year on YouTube without ever stepping foot on stage, without ever doing any posing practice at all. He already has that. He already has an insane, I'll say TRT, natural physique to where a normal person perceiving him would view him as attractive. Meaning, if he were to hop on, not even like big cycles, if he were to hop on medium competition cycles, most girls would be like, that's too much, right? Like you become less attractive to normal society when you enter freak show level that Jack would enter if he decided to do even a normal competition cycle. I'm not even talking push the compounds, right? If he just wanted to compete at a local level and did a normal competition cycle, I guarantee he would hyper respond like crazy. I guarantee he would smoke the show, and that he would gain so much muscle that it would put his physique in the blocky, unattractive, uncoordinated aspect where I talked to Jack off camera. You know, Jack has respect for real athletes. He was obviously a Marine. He likes to go on a run, be active, be coordinated. You know, I was a long distance runner. I can relate to, you know, the cardio as far as, you know, you just want to clear your mind, do your cardio, and there's something, you know, ritualistic about doing cardio that they implement into military training that I have implemented in my years of cross cross country running that I understand he still wants to be mobile. And I understand that he also likes mixed martial arts. He likes being functional, a functional athlete, and big bodybuilder don't really go hand in hand. Although I'll have Andrew throw up a picture of Rich Piana doing splits and shit. Obviously, if you don't train it, you lose it. But as far as coordination, everything goes, he could do it. I say this because it's funny and it's always hypocritical, as in the aspect of like Jack, when you look on paper, like be like, oh, who should do steroids, right? Who should do them? Who should do them? Someone who's gonna really reap the benefit, gonna climb up the ranks quickly and compete, and has the persona to hold people's minds on them, and can inspire a younger generation with honesty and integrity, blah, blah, blah. That's the person that should do steroids. Then you realize in reality it's the hardest convince ever, because Jack did the long, hard Natty route. He's already super fucking impressive to where everyone accuses him of shit tons of gear anyways. He already has the clout because you don't have to go through competitions to garner fame anymore. Social media has changed the game. He already has the sponsorships, the multiple income streams of his, stepping stones into becoming an entrepreneur, and then his stepping stones into becoming a serial entrepreneur. He's already down that path, and he already has the persona to talk on camera and to hold people's audience without his physique. I see both sides. I see it as a fucking pendulum with him, where it's like, oh wow, Russo found someone that, boom, you convince him to compete, he pops off. And you think about it in the aspect of like, a physique is a physique, right? So I'm a coder, right? I've studied information systems in school. I did computer science in high school. I was the nerd who would code all the time. Someone in Asia can read my JavaScript. I can read their JavaScript. We could work on a project together. Code sees there's no language boundary. It's a universal language. Physique is a universal language, right? Someone can admire Jack's physique who doesn't speak his language, who doesn't know anything about Jack's culture, and can still support him, right? Meaning, if he were to pop off, go all the way down the dark side road, I guarantee his following would explode, because that's just the way stupid fitness is on social media. And you see that with elite physiques, and I'll have Andrew throw up a picture of like Regan Grimes. What's another one? Joe Aesthetics. I'm not even saying like if Jack went on PDs and dialed himself in, like, cause now like he's like, I won't say he's like not completely bodybuilding. He's more like functionally strength training, slightly switching into bodybuilding. I'm saying if he completely not sauced to the gills, but dialed in and then chased competing for a pro card, I think it would dump gasoline on everything he's doing and all his numbers would go up. However, it's like, how do you convince someone who built a really good physique naturally, can maintain it risk-free on a little bit of TRT, already has a persona, already garnered a social media following? Like, basically what I'm saying is like people on the internet, like, define the person that should go down the dark side route. You find that person and they're like, no, I'm good. I don't want to be perceived as like insecure by juicing myself up to the max. I don't want to be perceived as unattractive and uncoordinated. I want to be athletic and attractive to normal society, and specifically attracted to women, because I think like there's a cutoff with muscle with women, especially when you're posting yourself like all ripped up online. Like, obviously when I cold approach a girl in person, when I'm clothed, when I don't have a pump, like, they're into me. When they see my shit on social media, they're like, bleh. That's just how they react. And that the more muscle you have, the more intimidated women are, etc., etc. But I just think it's funny. Like, I find the person that has all the cards up their sleeves, right? They could easily become a super pro. The health risk is there, but it's like, what's the perceived benefit for him anymore? Seriously, what is the perceived benefit other than if he wants that for his legacy? So for me with competing, it's like, I'm the nerd with the shitty genetics that biohacked them to such an extreme degree and vlog them completely transparent, that for my legacy, I'll risk my health and do the competitions and put a stamp on my shit, as in, fuck everyone, I proved everyone wrong, the nerd fucking wins. with Jack, it's like I already got all the benefits of doing that. I already built a super impressive physique completely naturally based on my epigenetics and that he trained his ass off in the Marine Corps. But I could take every single cycle Jack does and never look like Jack. And the minute Jack takes a legitimate actual cycle, like he's in pro territory. And it's just like dudes are literally killing themselves to get to Jack's level that he has naturally on TRT when Jack basically doesn't want it. Like, that's how fucked up this whole thing is. And I was smoking on it last night. I'm just like, man, it is such a weird argument to me because, like, I'm obviously not going to push Jack anymore. And this is me pushing him indirectly, as in being super based and understanding his personal angle. I just think it's funny, right? I think it's funny. You know, you find the person where you're like, okay, this makes sense. But in the closing thoughts, right, Jack's like, you know, all respect the bodybuilding, I just don't have the passion, it's not really in my legacy, etc., etc. Of like, hey, if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna prep, you have to be monk mode, super OCD'd, and you have to want to compete, right? There's a plastic trophy waiting for Jack, that pro card. Right? It's about him wanting to go through the journey to get the card that has to stamp his legacy more than the perceived benefit of money or fame. I think the fame will go up if he would compete. Long-term clout move, would that really yield anything? I don't know. It depends how Jack does his content moving forward. I just think it's funny, and I wanted to hear other people's opinions because, like, you find that perfect person that has all the cards, and it's like, how do you convince them because of what bodybuilding is with the dysmorphia, what bodybuilding is with, you know, and not being a death cult necessarily, but it's like you're a race car, you're pushing the limits, right? If you have someone who's naturally already so talented and naturally is a good persona on camera and garnered a following already, what is the perceived benefit of trying to convince them to become a pro and have pro aspirations when, you know, it's just not there, even though they have all the cards there? I don't know. I want to see everyone's opinion on this. I'll see you guys in my next video.